Hello everyone, today I'm doing a short video, well, a review video for Persona Dancing Endless Night Collection, and this will be a review on 3 different games: Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight, Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, and Persona 4 Dancing All Night. And I'm going to start with Persona 3 Dancing. And so, first off, for Persona 3 Dancing, I thought the gameplay was pretty fun and enjoyable, although it's obviously really repetitive at times. It still kept on rhythm throughout each track, although some remixes and all that were a little off, kind of, for like some tracks, but not all the tracks. But the the tracks were very good and really fun to listen to, and I felt like it was more of the type of music that I was looking for. And I think that some of the notes did feel a little off at times, just like some of the other games. But the Persona 3 Dancing had some pretty good tracks. The rhythm for each track did feel a little off, like just for a few tracks, specifically the remixes. But they tended to be pretty good. And the characters, well, okay, maybe not characters, but like, you had like the music, the gameplay, and the rhythms, and all that. They all fit well together, and the menu system was okay. I think that they could have put a little bit more style to the menu and the other menus and all that. And they had like all these cool little features in the game, just like the other 2 games. Like they had like all these accessory abilities that you could use, the costumes and all that. And you could have modifiers for the songs, which was really nice to do. And overall, while playing it, I thought it was a pretty fun game. I'm gonna have to say this is I'd say Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight is like a 9 out of 10 for me. And then, yeah, Persona 4 Dancing All Night, I'd say that is like is a pretty average rhythm game. Reason why I'm saying average is because I didn't really like it too much, because Persona 4 Dancing was just a little too off to me. I just didn't really like the tracks that much at all, to be honest. Mainly the tracks that you get when you're barely playing the game at all. And the tracks that you get down the road once you're finishing up, like the beginner's tracks and all that, then things does start to pipe up a bit. But by then it feels like it's a little too late to even enjoy the game. Because for me, some of the tracks were just off in Persona 4 Dancing All Night. And the rhythm, they still had the rhythm good. The remixes were okay. The regular songs were actually really good. It's just that they didn't cater to me that much. And the reason why it kept me a little bored playing the game, like the first stream that I did of Persona 4 Dancing, was because of those tracks. And I stopped the stream early because I didn't like the game. I didn't like the tracks. I didn't feel interested in the game. I came back to it because 1, I wanted to finish it for the stream. 2, I might as well finish it if I'm going to do a review on it. And plus, it's not a game that I'm gonna ignore, at least I'm gonna give it a second chance, as what I do with every game that I get. And if I'm disappointed with the second chance, oh well, whatever. And so, Persona 4 Dancing, the tracks were decent, they weren't the best. A little far from the best, like when you consider some of the tracks in the song, or in the game. And overall, I think Persona 4 Dancing was a 7 for me, because I just didn't like it that much. I just didn't really like it that much compared to the other two games, because the songs were just a little boring, and they didn't really cater to me that well. They just made me want to stop playing the game and just skip to a different game. And yeah, so Persona 3 Dancing is a 9 out of 10. Persona 4 Dancing is a 7 out of 10. And Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight is a pretty fun game. When you compare it to the others, it stands its ground very well. Although there are some pretty big issues, I'd say, for Persona 5 Dancing, which I've heard a lot of people say that the tracks aren't really that good for some of the remixes, and that the remixes themselves just aren't great. And I kind of understand, but at the same time I kind of don't, because some of the remixes are really good, even some of the ones that they say are bad. But I'd say that they were pretty decent, although some, like different ones, different remixes, they did feel a little off. And some of the songs, I felt like there could have been a little bit more songs than there were, because there's like a lot more songs than that in Persona 5, and they could have added a lot more. Same thing for the other two games, but mainly for Persona 5 Dancing. And for Persona 5 Dancing, they could have done a lot more songs, to be honest. But that's all in the DLC, which I'm fine with, but at the same time, well, you could easily beat all three of these games within 2 hours. Seriously. Doesn't matter which difficulty you do those tracks on. You could just beat the game in 2 hours. You could beat each game in 2 hours, which I felt was like pretty average considering they're both rhythm games. But if you're just looking at them at regular games and you're beating them within 2 hours, it feels kind of short. And altogether, that's 6 hours if you combine all three games. And so I felt that was a little too short. And it did feel a little fun to play the games, though. I really had a blast watching the characters' dancing moves and all that. I felt it was pretty enjoyable. And the costumes were pretty cool. The modifiers are all the same in each game, but they made it a pretty fun challenge and all that. But for Persona 5, I'm gonna have to say that I was a little disappointed, and I'm gonna have to bring it down to a 7 out of 10. Because to be honest, it wasn't really too great, because, well, I was kind of disappointed, just like Persona 4 Dancing. Because some of the songs of Persona 5 were really good, but then some of the remixes made them not that great. And I was disappointed. And I wanted to like Persona 5 out of all of them. But I have to rate Persona 3 the highest, because that just nailed like 99% of its tracks. Or 98% of its songs or whatever. And the other two games nailed like only 93% each. And overall, this collection has got to be a 8 out of 10. Because considering all three games, just putting them together, Not including the DLC tracks, not including those, just the base tracks of the game. Those alone, they were all pretty decent in their own ways. But some of them just ruined the experience a little bit. Specifically Persona 4 Dancing. Because some of those tracks, they felt really boring. Just boring. And I just didn't even want to play the game anymore after that. But I kept with it. And good thing I did, otherwise I wouldn't be doing the review for that game. Because Persona 4 Dancing has some pretty boring tracks, to be honest. And Persona 5 Dancing disappointed me with some of the remixes, because they weren't as catchy as the original sounds for the other versions of the songs. And yeah, the sound was off in some of the remixes, some of the notes were misplaced in all three games for some of the songs. Not all the songs, obviously, just some of the songs had misplaced notes. And yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say it. If you're gonna put remixes for Persona songs, you gotta do them better. You seriously gotta do them better. Way better than this. And there are some like YouTubers out there that are musicians, and they've done better cover arts for songs like these than some of the remixes in these games. I mean, I've listened to some remixes of like Life Will Change, or some of the other songs like Rivers in the Desert or Willpower or anything, and those tracks sound good with those like musician YouTubers that do cover arts of them, because their work is fantastic when they do work on those songs for the Persona games. And within those remixes that they put in these games for this collection, the songs just didn't feel right in the remixes. They felt like that they should have just been standalone versions only and not put into a remix. And I just didn't like the remixes at all. Not one bit that I like some of them. Like, I'd say like most of the remixes in Persona 5 were just not that great. And two of them I only liked. And the one specific thing I had to point out in Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, the original song, the original version of Last Surprise is on the game, right? And then when you look at the video clip that plays with all the animated characters on the screen and all that, the video that's shown is a video of the 4 female characters in Persona 5 dancing along in sync in corset dresses. And I felt like it was a little over excessive with the fan service for that kind of video in the game, and I felt like that kind of took off the 8 out of 10 score for the Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, which I was gonna give it an 8 out of 10, but then I remembered that scene or that video in the game, and I felt like it was a little fan servicey, like just a little too much, and I felt like I could have done without it, and they could just replace that video with like a battle montage maybe, or something, I don't know. But they could have done something different for that video, for that original song or whatever. But yeah, that's why I'm the only Persona 5 down to a 7. And yeah, overall, this collection is an 8 out of 10. Persona 3 Dancing being the only 9 or 8 out of 10. But yeah, Persona 3 Dancing, 9 out of 10. Persona 4 Dancing, 7 out of 10. Persona 5 Dancing, 7 out of 10. This has been Wolfdog107. Thank you for watching, and Wolfdog out.